Didn't see the magazine. To be able to see the
Excuse me,
magazine
ma'am.
in detail, yeah.
Ma'am, I am in my hometown. I have not any newspaper, magazine, or book.
So in that case, I'll make this announcement for everybody. For anybody who doesn't have any newspaper or a magazine, if you are on the laptop, open the website downtoearth.org.in. Down to Earth, right? Down to Earth magazine website. Open that website. If you are on phone, maybe you can open the website on phone. Okay.
Ma'am, which website?
Now let us move forward. As a journalist, you have to be on your toes. So
Sorry,
now
ma'am,
the
for interruption. I just
Hmm?
want to say I am like not at my home, so I'm not having any newspaper. So please, may you repeat what you said?
Okay. First thing, as a responsible journalist, you have to be very attentive.
Okay,
Once
ma'am.
an event is done, it will not be repeated. Second thing is, if you don't have a magazine or a newspaper with you, and you are on your laptop or your mobile, open the Down to Earth magazine website. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now we will move forward after this. So your exercise is find an environment related news story. Okay. Your exercise is find an environment related news story from whatever magazine or newspaper you have. I can see, Yashika, you have a very fluttering newspaper right in front of you. That is great. Take a minute, go through the newspaper page and see if you can find any environment related thing. कुछ environment से related है? Gaurisha, great. Great to see that you are following the exercise to the T. We have Swaragini also with a newspaper. And Rishika also has a Dainik Bhaskar. Very good. People, be quick. Divya, are you able to find any news story? I will take responses from any three of you and we will wrap up this exercise because we have a very interesting and intense session after this. You will get to know all the tips and tricks to become a smart journalist. Okay. So, who is going to tell us about the news story that you have found? Yuvam, have you found your news story? Okay, there is no response.
No, you have to.
Oh, right. Hi, Yuvam. Oh, Yuvam has disappeared. Okay, we have Ifra. Ifra, hi, Ifra.
Hi, ma'am. So
Uh,
basically, yes, ma'am.
yeah, Ifra, can you show us your newspaper or what are you holding?
Ma'am,
And
I'm actually using the Down to Earth website.
okay, in that case,
What's the news?
all right. So tell us what's the big news that you have found.
So, ma'am, according to the United Nations World Water Development Report 2025, it reveals that rapid glacier melting is threatening the freshwater supply for over 2 billion people globally. It has also led to the lack of access to safely managed sanitation for 3.5 billion people. It also focuses on this report, 2025 report, focuses on the mountains and glaciers too, which aligns with the United Nations initiative to designate 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers Preservation.
Amazing. Amazing. I think you are all set. Okay, great. Let us take one more response. Okay, Reet, I see you holding a newspaper and you have been very attentive since the start. Hi, Reet, which class are you in?
Ma'am, I am promoted to class 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Reet, which newspaper do you have with you?
Ma'am, I don't have any newspaper. I'm using the Down to Earth website.
Okay. What have you found interesting on the website?
So, ma'am, I have found that unprotected wildlife in South Korea due to deforestation.
Okay.
And in Tanzania, Masai petrolacists
Mhm.
resist carbon credit projects amid fears on the land disposition.
Okay. Okay.
So, ma'am, Joseph Oli Parasloy moves slowly across the sun-scorched plains of the northern Tanzania. His cattle grazing lazily on the arid landscape. Dust swirls around their hooves, catching the fading sunlight in a golden haze. The 56-year-old Maasai header, accompanied by his children, guides his 134 cattle, sheep, and goats across several kilometers in search of pasture and water before running to their boma,
Okay.
a traditional thorn fence enclosure.
All right. So, okay. So there is somebody who's being talked about, right? In Masai Mara, in the place that you spoke about. Good. Let us take a response from somebody who's actually holding a newspaper. I can see Sarah. Sarah, you're holding a newspaper, a hard copy newspaper in your hand, right? This particular newspaper definitely has a lot of other information also. Are you able to spot any environment related news here?
There is, but that is only animal facts.
Okay, that is animal facts.
Hmm.
Animal facts?
Hmm.
Okay. And which page is this? Tell us a little more.
There's also another page, but that is also fact.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think let us take one last response maybe to set the scene properly. Garima. Hi, Garima. I see you holding a newspaper.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us what are you holding and
One second. This is the Times of India, and not much of environment related news, but a headline has been made here.
Okay.
This is regarding the temperature increase. This page you can see.
All right. Okay. Cool. So here, all right. So thank you for all your responses. I think that you're now able to get a hang of at least you're able to become familiar with the news, the medium of news, and how the news is published over there, right? Now, what the session is about, now the session is going to be about how to write a great news story. So you can be now one of these people who have actually published a news story. To be able to do that, we have a guest speaker today, somebody who's truly inspiring. Snigdha Das is the chief copy editor at Down to Earth, India's leading environmental magazine. She has spent about a decade crafting powerful stories on climate and development. And when she's not busy shaping great news, she loves playing with her little son. And let us give her a big virtual round of applause. I will now leave the floor to you, Snigdha.
Can I unmute myself?
You wouldn't need to. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Sure.
I hope so.
Am I audible? Am I audible, children? Oh, okay. Hi. Hello. So, as Anubhuti said, my name is Snigdha Das. I work with Down to Earth magazine,
which is published by the Center for Science and Environment in Delhi. Okay. So let me just, before we start the session, let me show you something. So I have some of you just saw the website. So this is the magazine. Oh, okay. I can't show
Hold it right in
probably.
front of you.
Okay. This,
Oh,
is it visible?
no, it just.
No, it's going away.
We just got a glimpse of it.
Okay, got a glimpse of it. Okay, no problem. So that's the magazine I work with. Okay, and before starting the session, let me tell you a small story and share a PPT with you. Taking time to go full screen, right?
We can see the screen. Oops.
Into the last one.
Let's go to the first slide.
Okay, so let's start. So who is a news hound? Do you know? Let's learn that. Now to the story. This is the story about a king and a little girl named Kavya. Now, once upon a time, in a small kingdom, its name was Shantinagar, lived a king who wanted to recruit news reporters, now scribes who could collect and transmit information. This was important so that all his citizens, his ministers, and the king himself could stay informed about what was happening around them. Do people have enough to eat? Is there any infection or disease spreading in any part of the country? Are there thieves or goons troubling people? Is there any other kingdom planning to attack Shantinagar, etc., etc.? Isn't this? So what the king does, the king initiates a talent search test. It was a summer morning when all the 100 applicants for the job, they assembled at the king's palace. Suddenly, they heard a high-pitched, eerie wail coming from the roof. The king looked pale and asked the applicants to find out what happened. The 100 applicants jostled towards the rooftop. There, they saw a dog running amok, knocking over flower pots, furniture, and whatnot. Now, all of them came back and they reported to the king, who then asked, "But why? Why is the dog running around like that?" The applicants ran up to the rooftop again, except for one little girl, Kavya. "Now, are you tired, Kavya?" the king asked. "No, sir," Kavya replied. "I know why the dog is behaving so. It has been stung by bees." "So did you see the bee chasing the dog?" the king asked. "No, sir, but there were swellings around its face," Kavya said. Now the king asked, "How can you be so sure that the swelling was caused by a bee sting?" Now Kavya replies, "There was a damaged beehive on the mango tree branches hanging over the roof. Swarms of bees were hovering around it, which means the hive was disturbed recently." "Oh," exclaimed the king. Moreover, Kavya continued. She was very confident, "I saw a boy standing on the roof of a nearby building and tossing stones at the mangoes. One stone might have accidentally hit the hive, but I would need to speak to the boy to confirm this." The king was impressed and hired Kavya as his reporter. Okay, now this story is to refresh your memory about all the points that you learned yesterday. And what are those points? That the qualities which are must or which are essential for any reporter or a news writer. Now, What are these points? These are curiosity. What is curiosity? All of you know? Do all of you know what is curiosity? No, thumbs up.
Curiosity is anything interesting that you would like to know about?
Yes.
The desire to know?
The desire to know more about something, any issue or any incident, or anything in fact. Do you ever wonder why the sun rises in the east? Why the sky is blue? Why you have a mouth and not a beak, just like a bird? Why your mouth is underneath your nose and not on top of it? You should ask all these questions. This will make you curious about things. And this quality is essential for a reporter. In fact, whichever profession you like to go, this quality, you have to be curious. The next quality, which is essential for a reporter or a news writer, is attention to detail. One must pay close attention to details that others may overlook. This can be done by asking the 5 W's 1H. What, when, why, who, where, and how. If people remember, yesterday Rajit was teaching this to you. Now, the third quality is problem solving and investigative skills. Even yesterday, Rajit told you that a reporter is just like a detective, right? So what you have to do, visit the spot, look for information, interview people, talk to them, put together evidence, any clue, remove any biases, verify data to inform accurately. The other most important quality, stay informed. If somebody feels that you don't have to know anything, you can just go and talk to people and then write a story and come back. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. So you have to stay up to date with latest news and trends. And you have to develop a strong foundation of general knowledge. You have to know everything, right from science to literature to mathematics. All these things are important. Next, be confident, be bold. It is the responsibility of a reporter or a journalist to report the truth. So do not be afraid to ask tough questions. Okay, now, before I go to the last and final point, which is about improving writing skills, let's analyze how all these qualities in Kavya makes her a good reporter or a good news writer. Okay? Are you all ears? Should I?
Keep admitting.
Okay? I'm not losing you people, right? Okay. So Kavya was curious. Wanted to know why the dog was running around. She had an eye for detail, hence she could spot the swelling on the dog's face. She had great general knowledge, hence she could understand that the swelling was caused by a bee sting. Again, it's because of her curiosity that she wanted to know where the bees came from. And again, it's because of her eye for detail that she could spot that damaged beehive and the boy tossing stones at the mango tree. Now, the most important quality of Kavya was she was bold and she wanted to report the truth. Since she had not seen the boy damaging the beehive directly, she told the king that she wanted to go and talk to the boy to make sure that her assumption is true. Am I clear? Any doubts? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's come to the last quality that is essential for a reporter or news writer, which is about improving writing skills and command over language. First, let's understand why writing skill is important. Now, writing a news report be it for a newspaper, a magazine, or a website, requires precision and clarity. You have to get directly to the point, just like a storybook or a novel, which are like thick. You have lots of pages. You can build up the plot. You can narrate a story. In a newspaper, for a news report, there is no such space, no time. People want to get to the point, know the information immediately without wasting time. So there is also time and space constraints. So you have to file the story as quickly as possible. At times, as the story unfolds, you must have seen on TV how people do live reporting. So that's how they file the story. They tell you the story, the information in a very short, concise sentences as the event is happening, as the event is unfolding. It also has to be written as concisely as possible so that a lot of information can be conveyed in a fewer words. For this, what you have to do? Improve your language skill. Why language skill is important? It will help you articulate your ideas, your thoughts, and the vast information you're going to collect from the ground easily and quickly. Next, improve the art of writing. It is important so that the audience can easily understand the content without having to read it multiple times. If you're writing, if your sentences are not clear, somebody has to read it over and over again to understand. So very clear and crisp sentences are important. All this requires practice. However, I'm going to share a few tips with you, which is going to help you. Okay. So the tips to write a news story or a news article is follow inverted pyramid structure. Now, what is inverted pyramid? Do you people know what is a pyramid? All of you know? Now, in a pyramid, the base is a most important bit. It holds the entire shape and structure of the pyramid. Likewise, in a news report, the first paragraph is the most, or the beginning is the most important bit. It should have all most important information. It is followed by the middle part, which is the body, which is called the body. Now, which also contains all the important details, but those are meant to substantiate what you have already written in the first paragraph or the beginning. And then comes the end, where you can file just some additional details that are required. But even if a reader doesn't read till the end, it's okay, because you have already conveyed everything that you want to tell them in the first paragraph itself or in the body text. Now we'll try to understand this further. Inverted pyramid can be broken down into 3 parts, which is the lead. How to write the lead? Should I go ahead? Okay. So begin the article with the main point to make it easier for readers to identify the information they are searching, which means the most important to be here. This paragraph must contain all the critical details. How do you find all the critical details? Use the 5 W's and 1 H to identify those details. It can contain outstanding fact or data that you have collected. You can begin this lead with a quote or a story that you feel is important. If you're writing for website, include keywords so that Google can recognize it. The second part is the body text. Now, body text is where we build our argument. We narrate the incident. We don't get space to narrate the incident in the first paragraph or the lead. So we narrate the incident in the second paragraph. We take the third paragraph to provide further evidence. The case studies you have got, you must have spoken to people, like Kavya went to speak to the boy. All those quotes you can include in the body text. Now, this can be more than one paragraph. All the graphics or the photographs, like Kavya must have taken a photograph of the damaged beehive that she can include here. All these elements are to be part of this section. The last section is the tail, which is the conclusion of the article. Now, again, just like in the lead, you kept the information concise and to the point. Try to keep it concise and informative in the tail as well. An expert comment or quote can make for a great ending. Now, more or less, this is how a news article looks like. Take a minute to see what all elements are here. Also try to understand which one could be the lead, which one could be the body text, which one could be the tail or the last paragraph. We don't have a photograph here. We have put some illustration just to capture the essence of the article. Now, take a look at this one. I have marked the lead here. The body text also I have marked, and then the last paragraph. Now, this is I'm pretty sure you people are not able to read what was written here. So read this. Is it all clearly visible to you people? Okay. So in this article, junking the junk food. Now that's the headline. I'll come to the headline later. And you have Chavi Mahor, who is the reporter, and Yogendra Anand, who is the illustrator. I'm giving the bylines. These are called bylines. I have put their names here. I have put the date when this article has been written. These are very important points that you have to remember. Then the lead that we were talking about, what I have mentioned here is the Green School project was an integral part of my school years at Father Angel School, New Delhi. You can read after that. Visible to me. Okay. So anyway, so this is the first paragraph that you can see. That's the lead for you. The next bit where she is talking about the school canteen, the details of the school canteen, that is, it was operating since early 2000. And what was being sold there, those become part of the body text. And the last paragraph, which is the tail, is the campaign eventually led to the complete shutdown of the canteen, leaving behind a long queue of disappointed faces who missed the tasty hot dogs and other snacks. But in my opinion, it saved us tiny humans from years of consuming junk food. Now, this is the ending. This is the conclusion of the article. That's the tail. So now, once you are done with writing the article, you should write the headline. It's easier to write the headline once you have completed writing the article, but you can also try writing it once you have finished a couple of paragraphs. Now, data and statistics often make good headlines. The headline should grab the reader's attention. What was the headline here? Junking the junk food. How does it sound? Does it grab the reader's attention? So that's the headline. You can come up with even more interesting headlines. For web stories, try to include the keywords in the headline. Do all of you understand the keywords? When you try to look for something, those are the keywords. Now, a headline is followed by a strapline or an intro. Now, this is one line introductory sentence that qualifies the headline further. Again, for web stories, include keywords here. Now, let's see what was the intro here. How a student-led campaign against junk food transformed a school and inspired lessons in health. After that, I can't read. Okay, I can move it. Okay, so I'll read it again. So our headline in this article was junking the junk food. which was written in a way so that it attracts the reader's attention. Then we have the strapline, which kind of supports the headline. And it has to be one line. Don't write longer straplines. So what is a strapline here? How a student-led campaign against junk food transformed a school and inspired lessons in health and leadership. Now this gives you a little bit more information, after which you would feel like reading the article, reading the story. Okay? Am I clear? So I have one more example here so that you have a thorough idea about what is a headline, what is a byline, what is a dateline, what is a strapline, what is lead, the body, and the tail. Okay. Now, Chinese doctors, again, I have picked this up from Down to Earth magazine website. Chinese doctors transplant pig liver in human in a first. Now, this headline has been written with keywords because it was suitable to make it suitable for our website. Now, can any of you suggest me how I should make this headline more interesting? Keep thinking. We'll come back to this. Now, when you see that this article has been written by Rajat Ghai, and it was written on March 27, 2025. Now, Rajat Ghai is the byline, which is the name of the reporter. It's very important to write down your name, or the byline of the reporter has to be there in the article. Whatever you are writing, or if anybody else is writing, that person's name should be there. It should be up front. Then you have the dateline. Why date is important? So that you know that this event has happened either on that day or somewhat around, this article has been written on that day, and that the event has happened either that day or in that month. You have some idea about the timing. Now let's read the first paragraph for the lead here. I want to explain a few things about the 5W1H, that how your lead should contain all the important details. So doctors in China have transplanted a pig's liver in a human being in what is being described as a medical breakthrough. The liver from a miniature pig had 6 edited genes. I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably do not understand what edited genes are, but you can just ignore that. It was transplanted into a person at the 4th Military Medical University in the Chinese city of Wuhan on March 10, 2024. Now here, who have transplanted? So for what are the key questions? What are the elements in 5W1H? So what has happened? Someone has transplanted a pig's liver in a human being. Who has done it? Doctors in China have done it. What has happened? When did it happen? It happened on March 10, 2024. Where did it happen? It happened at the 4th Military Medical University in the Chinese city. Now, is it giving you all the information, all the most of the 5W1H? So this is a very good lead where you are getting all the important information in the first paragraph itself. Okay. So this I have already told you, don't forget. that a news report must be accompanied by the name of the author or reporter, which is also known as the byline. The place and date of reporting, which is known as the dateline. A photograph, dataset, or graphic or video must be accompanied by a caption. Now, what is a caption? It's a short sentence that describes the photograph, graphic, or video. And a few more points that I would like you to remember. That as a writer, do not write anything that you yourself do not understand. Let me give you an example. If I say, binging on calorie-dense food is bad for health. How many of you understand calorie-dense food? Any thumbs up? Understand, don't understand? Don't understand? Okay. Okay. So what you can do is, instead of writing very dense words, explain it for the reader. Maybe your reader doesn't understand. So how you can write it? You can maybe say, calorie-dense foods are generally high in fat, sugar, or both, and include items like processed snacks like chips. So binging on such food is bad for health. So you have already explained the calorie-dense food. Next, always write full name of people and their designation. And also write full name of organizations, agencies, institutions, companies you are referring to, and try to mention where they are located. Now I'll give you an example of this. So if I say, Anubhuti of YE is conducting this session. Does it make sense to you?
No?
No? And Anubhuti is an incomplete name. So what I should be writing is Anubhuti Sharma of Young Environmentalist, published by the Center for Science and Environment in Delhi, is conducting this session. Okay. Next, while writing currency or units, which are like measurements and weights, it should be uniform throughout the article. Okay, let me explain this with an example. Suppose you say, like, I was carrying 100 rupees, but the toy store manager charged me $3. What does that mean? Does it make sense to all of you? That you were carrying 100 rupees, but the toy store manager charged you $3?
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
So
Okay.
convert $3 into rupees.
Use the reactions button to give your reaction. Read Garima. Use the reactions button.
Suppose I say
Good.
$1 is 80 rupees. That means $3 would be 240 rupees. So now you can rewrite the sentence. How? That I was carrying 100 rupees, but the toy store manager charged me 240 rupees. That sentence is clear, right? So always the currency, any currency of the units, they should be uniform throughout the article. Okay, do not write different units. If at all you have to write, convert it at one place and make sure that all the units are can understand, can actually compare. Now, always write in active voice. I think class 4 students, do they know active voice, what active voice and passive voice are? Do you people know?
Some know. I
Some
think some
know.
don't know. What we mean to say is just write in a very simple language.
No, I'll tell you. So the children were, I'll just give you an example, okay? The children were taught how to write news reports. Is this enough? Does this give you all the information? No, because this sentence doesn't tell you who taught the children. So active voice, when you write anything in active voice, it gives you complete information. So instead of saying that the children were taught how to write news reports, you must say Snigdha Das taught children how to write news reports. Okay. Now tense should also be uniform throughout the article. In one sentence, you shouldn't have present tense and the other sentence in past tense. Then cross-check. This is the last and very important point. Cross-check all the data and spellings and revise the text before submitting your copy or the article. Okay, so that is all from my side.
Amazing. Thank you, Snigdha, for taking us through every single step of how to become a cool news reporter. You've explained us everything from how to gather news, how to fine tune it, and how to make it look proper. From the heading to the subheading to the byline to the body of the text to the conclusion, I think our children have got a very strong grasp of how to write a news. Now is the time of question and answers. So anybody who has a question for Snigdha, anybody who is a little more curious, can now post their questions. You can raise your hand using the reactions button, or you can give me a thumbs up, and I will be circling to you. So Gaurisha Tashi, hi Gaurisha. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you are from. Tell us your name. Tell us your class and school, and you can ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm from Delhi Public School, Rohini. Ma'am,
Okay.
I'm in class 5, but I'm going to be promoted in class 6.
Lovely.
Ma'am, I found this session very interesting, ma'am, but I still did not understand properly about the subheading.
Okay.
Submitting, Gaurisha, I have not used in the presentation. Do you mean strapline, or do you want to understand what a subheading is?
Ma'am, whatever you told, ma'am, it was very detailed and simple. Ma'am, I understood quite of all of the things. Ma'am, but I did not get the concept of the heading. Ma'am, the topic, how should I name it? Ma'am, because at that time I had got disconnected.
Oh, okay, no problem. So once you have finished writing the article, you can think of one interesting headline. Now, the headline has to be in 2-3 words. If you're writing it for the website, then it can be of 4 to 5 words. The main point is it has to catch the attention of readers. Now, I had asked you people to convert one headline that I was showing about the pig liver transplant, and I had asked you to come back to me with a better headline. Has anybody written it down? Thought about it?
I think they must have. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, Devangna has raised her hand. Devangna, do you want to answer? Hi, introduce yourself, please, and tell us what's your question.
I just wanted to ask that in this whole session, we have
Yes.
learned about climate, we have learned about nature, but when we started talking about the liver transplant of the pig, I got confused that how is it connected with nature?
Oh, no. What we were learning today is how to write a news report.
Yeah, that I got. I have written one somewhere. Like I had written it, I had put it in my room. Can I tell about it?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I had written like a story in a form of a summary of the whole session. So
Yeah, can you make it quick? We
yeah,
can
just of a minute. So I had written about the whole session in a short form. Like the session was by so many people, Like so many people have joined, so many people instructed. But the one thing that I didn't understand is if somebody is confused in nature, animals, farming, agriculture, and whatever, how how are they gonna understand like about nature? Yesterday we were talking about agriculture, farming. We had question answer and we had to give our own choices, fake, fact. But I had gotten the first one wrong. I don't remember the question and I couldn't understand how it was wrong.
Okay. So let me tell you about environment. What is environment and what all comes under the environmental news? So are we part of the nature? Are we part of nature and environment? Anybody wants to answer that? What do you think? What about plants? Are they part of nature and environment? Yes, Preet?
Yes, ma'am, we are a part of environment.
Yes. What about agriculture? Food that we eat? What about our health?
Yeah, I think people are understanding.
Yeah. So everything that you see around us and everything that affects us is it can be part of your environmental news.
Right? Devangna? Devangna, are you able to now understand how the pig story is also related to environment around us? Make sense? Okay. So, okay, let's move on to the third question of the day. Ifra, you have your hand raised for quite a while. It will also be nice if we can see you. Also introduce yourself, which class, which school, which location are you in, and ask your question.
All right, so hello everybody. My name is Itra Hassan and I am in Ghaziabad, Indrapuram Public School, Indrapuram, Ghaziabad. So I have quite a big of a question. So, ma'am, so how do you find and pitch environmental story ideas, and what are the some key sources that you interview for the stories?
Great.
Yes. So your first question is how do we find ideas related to environment story? So for you, where you live, what is happening around you? What about the air? What about the water quality? What about the trees? What about if there is any water body around it? What about the animals? What about people's health? Wherever you feel that something is important, something is happening that is bothering you, something is happening that is inspiring you, something that is happening that you want to inform people, you want others to know about it. Those points, those elements, or those incidents, events can be a news, can be environmental news. And what was the second question? How to find sources?
Yeah.
Okay. So the sources can be, for example, can you tell me right now what is on top of your mind? What is it around you that is bothering you and you would like to tell us? And or maybe you would like to write a new story on that.
Ma'am, basically about the fact that how the students they are not able to take the SDG goals seriously. I've kind of noticed that thing that they
Okay.
are not taking it seriously.
All right. So so the problem statement is how can one report on the fact that children these days are not taking SDGs seriously? What's the best way to go about it?
What's the best way to go about it? Okay. Hmm. Which SDG are you talking about? There are so many of them.
Ma'am, I'm just like talking about kind of the idea of them, like they're considering that it is not their job to play an role to becoming a better world.
Okay, now this idea is quite broad. So you have to first narrow it down using your general knowledge or using some research, using some studies. So first understand how many SDG goals are there and what exactly you want to focus on. Do you want to focus on something related to waste? Then you can talk to the students. Then you can see if they are littering, if they are not managing the waste properly. Then you can talk to the students who are not able to do so. And then you can also talk to the local activists or the RWA people who are probably taking some initiative related to waste management. You can also include that in your story.
Snigdha, if I may interrupt and ask,
Yes.
can she also do a short survey in her class or something, gather data on how many children are
Of course, that
actually
is
aware?
brilliant. That will
Yeah,
be
you'll
very
get
good,
some
really good.
numbers and you can put it as something substantial to insert in your news story.
Yes.
In fact, for that matter, I would like to tell all of you that any issue that you find interesting, if you want to get more numbers or data on it, you must visit the latest news article that we have put on our website. This is the Green Gazette. We have specially launched it yesterday. I have again put the web link in the chat strip. Visit the handout. It has a list of websites. You can visit those websites and you can gather data on anything interesting, like children all over the world, how many are affected by obesity, how many in India, hunger, awareness on SDGs, whatever. So, data related to all these things is available in one of these websites. So that will give a good punch to your news story. Okay, so now let us move on. We have three people raising their hands. Let me take questions one by one. Mrinalini, it was nice to have you attend our session yesterday and today as well. Please introduce yourself, ask your question, and then I'll come back to Divya and Swaragini as well.
I was not able to understand about the beginning of the story, middle, and the end.
Okay, so I think Snigdha will explain it once again a little quickly.
Okay, I'll do that. So, when you write a story, first you can say the first paragraph. Do you understand paragraph, Mrinalini? Okay. So the first paragraph, which has to be short, and it has to have all the relevant information that you want to highlight in the story or in the article. Now, how do you know what are the relevant information? For that, you have to ask the 5 W's and 1 H. Now, most of those relevant information should be there in the first paragraph. Is that clear?
Kind of.
Is that clear?
I think. So,
Is she on mute?
Mrinalini, we are unable to hear you. Can you please unmute yourself? Also, tell us which class are you from, which school?
I am in third class. I will be promoted to fourth class this year, and I'm at international school.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So the beginning is clear to you that it needs to have all the relevant information. And how do you know that there are how to get the details? For that, you have to ask the 5 W's and 1 H. Okay. Now, next part is the body text, where you have to develop on that first paragraph and give more information related to it. Is that it?
I think so. Mrinalini has understood it. Okay, so Ragini, you are next. Please introduce yourself little quickly and ask your question. Your introduction exercise should be taken as your byline writing exercise.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Swaragni Saini, and I would be promoted to class 5. I study in Delhi Public School, Rohini, in New Delhi, India. And my
That's
question
very
is,
nice.
that why curiosity is important to be a good news reporter.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a fundamental question.
I wonder why not. The very fact that you are questioning this shows that you are curious, that you want to know. Why curiosity and not anything else? Because you would start questioning only if you are curious about something. Should we go back to Kavya's story? Should I repeat Kavya's story? Now, Kavya was curious. There were 100 applicants for the job. 100 people were there on the roof watching the dog running around. But Kavya wanted to know why. Why is the dog running around? While all the other people, they just went back to the king and said, oh yeah, the dog is running around. Right? So you have to be curious. You have to ask questions. Then Kavya thought that probably a bee has stung the dog. Then Kavya started wondering again. How did the bee came to this place? How did the bee come to this place? So you have to constantly ask questions.
Yeah, Swaragini, were you able to understand? More curiosity, more questions, more information you get, more you learn. Right? Good. Next is Divya. Divya, please introduce yourself quickly. Ask your question. We will take 2 more questions after this.
Good evening, everyone. I study in St. Thomas's School, Mandir Marg, New Delhi. My question is that in one of the slides that it was mentioned that we can also use a quote while writing our report. So
Correct.
how and where can we use it?
Okay. Snigdha, can you please help answer this?
Yeah. So
Importance of quotes.
Importance of quotes. So again, I'll refer to the story I shared with you people. Is about when Kavya decides to go and talk to the boy and ask him whether he is the one who was throwing the stones at the mangoes and whether one of his stones hit the beehive. Now that whatever the boy is going to say, that becomes a quote. The quote, it doesn't mean like somebody famous person has said something that you are going to use in your article or in your story. A quote means when you are interviewing a person who is either part of the event or either part of the incident or either a witness or an expert who knows about the subject. Whatever they're saying, that becomes the quote.
Sorry to interrupt, but like quote can also mean reported speech.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Right? Quotes always substantiate your argument, your news story. They validate that whatever is going on is actually not fake, it's genuine, and it gives some perspective to what is that you're reporting about. Right? Next, last 2 questions. Let's give chance to Ranvi. Ranvi, hi. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hello everyone, I am Ranvi Sharma and I am promoted to grade 5th. So my school name is JP International School in Greater Noida. So my doubt is in headlines. So how can we write it like
Okay. What are the best ways to write a headline? Fine.
Best way is to keep practicing, but the only thing to keep in mind is you write something that interests other people. When you see jingles, when you see advertisements, they attract you, right? You remember what is written there. That's because that's the title. It's written in a very interesting manner. If you read some, that's the first thing when you open a news. Let me just, so I can't show anything, right? Because of this. But when you people have newspapers with you, just pick up any newspaper or any magazine. You can see the headlines are most attractive. They are in bigger fonts. Yeah, no, but because of this, I can't see.
Oh, yeah.
Show na.
No problem. I can
So it
always
has
show
to be
you.
the first is to hold the reader's attention, to capture the reader's attention. And the second point, it has to be short.
Right. All right. The last question of the day. Reed, I think we got a chance to speak to you. I'll apologize and I'll move on to Siddhartha. So, Siddharth, you will be asking the last question of the day as we are already overshooting our time. Please keep it short and introduce yourself shortly.
Good morning, good evening, ma'am. My name is Siddharth and I am from JP International School. My question is that how do we write the tale of the story?
Okay.
Okay.
What
So
do
the
we
tale,
write in the tale?
yeah. So it's like what we are going to discuss right now is the tale of our story of this session, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that's the conclusion. That should see in the first paragraph, you are kind of giving out the most important information that's going to attract the reader. The key is to make sure that after reading the first paragraph, which is the lead, somebody is definitely going to read the entire article. Now somebody has understood everything, what happened, why that incident happened. In the last paragraph, which is the conclusion, which is the tale, you should use a quote or some kind of information that tells you the way ahead, that probably tells you the solution, or probably tells you a very interesting quote or that an expert has given you. So it's the conclusion of the article.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So, before we close our session, let me make a very important announcement for all of you. Now that you have got a chance to go through the Cub Reporters program, you have attended the first session yesterday, you have attended the second session today. Now, I'm sure you are adept at understanding how a news is to be identified, what is to be written in it, and how it is to be written, right? Now that the theory part is done, it's time to start the practice. So therefore, as part of that learning process, we are going to launch the Cub Reporters contest for you. Let me share my screen over here to be able to give you a proper idea of what am I talking about. So here's my wonderful website, the Young Environmentalist. I hope you all have got a chance to visit it and explore it. If not, please do it from now on. On this website, we have launched a very exciting contest. This is the Cub Reporters contest. In this contest, all you have to do is go about in your vicinity, learn about some interesting, sense some interesting news around you, anything that is related to especially food, and report it here. All you have to do is click participate and submit your form. Go form by form and finally make your submission. Everything that you have learned in the session today will be useful to be able to fill up this form. These are all the basics that you are seeing right now. But as you move on to the next pages of this form, you will get to see how the learnings that you have acquired today will be useful for you. Okay, so the last date for submission of your news story is actually 15th of April. So you get good 2 weeks to go about your surroundings, sense something interesting related to food particularly, and report it. Let me give you a sample. Now that I have opened the form for you, here is our email ID that I can write about. Uh, you can just write. Yeah, but I would like to put the correct email ID that we use these days. This is our official email ID. In case any of you has an issue, please feel free to write to us. Okay. Fill up the form. Make sure that all the details that you enter are very correct, because if not, then you will not be able to get a participation certificate which has proper information. Well, right now, the information related to school and district and state and all is something that you can easily fill. In order to cut short and save on time, maybe I can just tell you that in the first form, you have to fill the personal details. Second form uh, uh, is about details of your story. If you have taken any photograph, if you have taken any video, you can upload it there. If you have done any field visit, you can talk about it over there. The last form will be about how to actually write the story. You can write the headline, you can write the intro, you can write the byline, you can write the body text, and you can make the final submission. Okay, so do participate in the Cub Reporters contest. Every participant will get a participation certificate, and the winners are definitely in for exciting prizes. That's all about it. And for students who have attended the session yesterday and today, for 30 minutes at least, we'll get a certificate of attendance today. We'll get a certificate of attendance. We'll make it available on our website on the we'll make it available on the Young Environmentalist webpage. I'll mostly this particular page. You'll find the yeah, you can download your certificate from somewhere here. All right. Since Monday is going, I think you are in for a long leave right now, but easily before when Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll find all your certificates. So don't worry. And don't worry, and your certificates will be on time. That's it for today. I see a couple of hands raised. Let me take one last question. Chaitanya, hi. What's your question?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Chaitanya from St. Thomas's School.
Okay.
Ma'am, my question is that do we have to enter the same email that you have entered?
No, not really. That was just a sample. I do not wish to confuse you. Write your genuine email ID, your own email ID, and log in through that. In fact, I would suggest that the same email ID that you have used to participate in our session today, you should use the same one to fill up your form as well. I think it will be a very interesting exercise for all of you. You'll get a chance to feel like a real news reporter.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right. So, all right, I will now try to unmute all of you. You can then say your goodbyes and thank yous to our speaker. And thereafter, we will close this session. Yeah, you can now unmute. You can now unmute yourself and say your closing comments.
Thank you, Anubhuti ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Srinda,
Thank you, ma'am, for
what
your
you
teaching.
Excuse me,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you.
days? Really enjoyed a lot.
Thank you.
Excuse me,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Adita.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am.
If you have
मैंने
any
Ma'am.
doubts, you can write to us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you,
Excuse me,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.